In this video, I'm going to show you the best way to put a halter on a horse. I'm going to use a rope halter right now. I'm going to demonstrate with a nylon or webbing halter in just a minute with a different horse. So this is Sparky. He's 8 years old. He's a quarter horse. Alright, so when you approach a horse, a lot of people will come with the halter and they'll come at the horse's nose like this. Oh, come here, come here. And the horse will often throw his head around like that. And then you have to like throw the long piece. You have to throw the rest of the halter like over the horse, and half the time you hit yourself in the head with it. So the way that I prefer to halter a horse, and the way that I like to see people put halters on horses, offers you a lot more control whenever you're catching the horse before you have the halter on his head. And it also discourages the horse from raising his head away from the halter as you try and put his nose in it. So I'm going to take my halter off again. And so when I come to approach my horse, I'm actually going to put the halter, hello horse, I'm going to put my arm over his neck so that he feels a little bit caught. And if he tries to look away, I can just point his head back at me. I'm going to take my halter and I'm actually going to put it under my horse's neck and grab the long piece from the other side. And now, in the event that my horse would try and leave or something, I actually have like a rope around his neck, basically. So once I have the long piece in my hand over here, my left hand is free, and I can grab the halter up under here, and see how he just puts his nose right in the halter? Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. So that actually encourages a horse to duck their head into the halter, rather than throwing their head up and trying to avoid it. Now, if you have a rope halter, there is a correct and an incorrect way to tie it. So this loop right here, this is called the post of the halter. I don't know why it's called that, but it is. So you take the end of your rope halter and you put it down through the post like this. You snug your halter up wherever you want it to sit on his nose. And then, so you take the tip, you point it toward his tail, then you bring it underneath the halter towards his eye, and then through the loop that you just made, and you want to make sure that you tie your knot around the post of the halter, not up here, because if you tie it around the post, it's secure, and the halter is not going to slip off, and your knot's not going to slip. If you tie it, remember tail, eye, point it back toward the tail. If you tie it on top of the post, it's a lot less secure, and it's incorrect. So there's a lot more possibility of it just slipping out, or if your horse goes to pull away from you or something while you're holding on to him. I've seen horses actually pull the whole halter off themselves like this. And so you can actually pull the whole knot out, or at this point it's so loose that it will just slide off his nose if he's trying to go somewhere. So that's how to put on a rope halter. I'm going to go get a nylon halter now and show you on a different horse that might stand a little more still. Alright, so this is Dragon. She's a 6-year-old thoroughbred mare. Again, she's not anything super special. She's pretty much just a horse. But as you can see, she's wearing a more traditional nylon or webbing halter. It doesn't matter if your halter is made out of leather or nylon, it's going to operate the same way. So I come up to my horse. She looks away from me, so I put my hand over her head and guide her head back toward me. I want my horse's head tipped toward me when I put a halter on her, because I don't want her looking off at something else. If she's looking that way, she could go that way. Then I'm just going to be standing here with an empty halter feeling dumb. Alright, so my halter's unbuckled. She's got her head on the ground again. I put my halter under her neck, grab the long strap. See how she turns away, and now I can just pull her back to me with the halter. Bring the halter under her nose like this. She doesn't put her head straight in it, but you see how she doesn't shy away from it either? And so I can just shimmy it up her nose like that, over, and then we use the buckle the same way you would use any buckle. Make sure my halter is even. And I always like to put the end of the buckle through the keeper here so that it lays flat. It looks a lot neater, and I've actually seen horses that will grab, the excess over here and they'll play with it and sometimes take the halter off another horse. So this just prevents any horse from being able to take another horse's halter off if you have a Houdini horse or one of those. So remember, let's recap. No, not good, not helpful. You see how much I had to move my feet there? I had to go get her, come back. No, not good. Yes, good. Pick your head up. So a couple of thoughts. You might be thinking, why is this important? As long as I get the halter on my horse, it doesn't matter how I got it there. But if you want to train horses for other people, if you want to work at a barn, even if you want to show, anytime that you're going to be working with other people's horses or people, higher ups, other professional trainers or riders, even the manager at your barn is going to watch you handle horses. Putting the halter on the correct way really shows that you know what you're about. It's one of the first things that I look for whenever I interview a person or go to hire a team. I want to see how that person walks up to a horse and how they put the halter on. And if they do the correct way with the arm over the neck, that's like a major check mark in their book for me. If they come up to the horse's nose and try and chase the nose around like this, that's really a big red flag for me. So again, if you're just a recreational rider, it doesn't really matter how you put a halter on your horse as long as it gets put on. But if you're doing it professionally, you're training horses, you're working at a barn, anything like that, you're working with other people's horses, you really need to know how to be able to do it correctly.